Okay. For the last 25 years, I both benefited from and participated in recruitment and induction programs in North America, Jewish day schools. I received in the same week both the Dalit study and a similar study not yet released of an Israel-based training program for review. To tell you the truth, I'm more familiar with the graduates of the MA programs at Hebrew U, with or without Pardes, JTS, the rabbinical school graduates, both with and without MAs of and the American University, the old UJ, and my initiatives and all of us in the school who are former heads of school or current heads of school have all dabbled in this area where we've all taken BAs from Hebrew colleges, a couple of PhDs in Jewish histories, and graduates study program people from Barnard and elsewhere, and tried to induct them into the field of day school teaching. And when I conducted a quick study yesterday of my 4 non-certified inductees from Michigan, all of them are still teaching in the field 15 years later. Innovating and developing the rabbi-in-residence model further helped me understand the process of taking highly trained rabbis who were novices as teachers, whether they held or didn't held an MA in education. Saying all that, the incredible efforts of the Dalit program and its review need to be placed in the context that many language-based schools, like Bialik's and Kinneret's and certain Solomon Schechter schools, that the majority of our teachers are product of Israeli training institutes or have been trained by different kinds of Hebrew colleges in local communities. 2 of my strongest teachers from Detroit were gifts from the Baltimore and Cleveland communities that moved to Detroit, Child Center Israelis, and MAs from Siegel and Baltimore Hebrew University. And I think that if I can do anything today, I can say thank you to the field and to make a nice joke saying I think that, and Carol hinted at it, we need a program, we might name it called the DOOR program, in order to do something very similar for Israelis to prepare them to come into the field of day school education. As a connected North American head of school, the buzz on the Dalit program and the graduates is strong and positive, as well as the study. And while the study does highlight the importance and gives evidence of the alignment of core teaching and learning values within a school, I want to share with you an off-the-record conversation I had over the last few days with heads of school who have been taking Dalit graduates and being mentor schools. And I'll share the following anecdote, and this is probably based on the East Coast version of it. If I had to choose between a Harvard graduate or a Dalit fellow, I'll go with the Dalit grad. Not enough can be said about the alignment of core values in the preparation of the students, their coursework and teaching and evaluation experiences. Could the Dalit program also be studied as an agent of the improvement in schools in their articulation of their mission, vision, and philosophy, as well as the personnel issues that are the focus of our study? Obviously, the training of in-school mentors would be an aspect of this design, and how it affects the wider PD vision of the entire faculty. On the downside, and I think this is one of the problems of coming to these conferences, we must understand why in the study my fellow heads receive the lowest grades in the whole report in their role of supporting the fellows. Is it a flawed question? Can a fellow discern between a head who manages from the side, who may not have a direct relationship with the fellow, but really supports the reality of being in the program, the reality of the program, being in the program, providing resources for success, and overseeing the overseers? Or is it a good research question that might highlight that heads of school are spending most of their time as independent school leaders who are highly focused on governance, development, and strategic planning? I'm not sure, but I do want to just, hopefully I read the numbers correctly and I'm not a quantitative guy. I actually think if you read the study carefully, Carol, 50% of the heads of school are doing great, right? So 50% in Toronto is not a passing grade, but when it gets to 60, you can invite me back. My review of this study highlighted how new teachers needed a differentiated approach And this is what I learned with my Canadian flag, because I've been back in Toronto for 7 years and been working with the York program and Ontario regs of how this works. So let me explain it quickly, and it does relate to the underlying assumptions, the big ideas in the study. In Ontario, our collective bargaining agreement has tenure after 3 years. Both here in Michigan and in Ontario, we are unionized, and what really frames induction activities in Ontario is this 3-year tenure process. In Ontario, there's a clear set of teaching expectations, and the York program is well aligned with those expectations. We have spent the bulk of our rather extensive PD resources using the newer teachers to influence the paradigm shift in learning and teaching in the school, and the weekly PLTs, cross-branch learning, and aligned school improvement are all there, and I guess it's time to do a little bit of pre-Yom Kippur banging of, we don't really sit, this is my Director of Learning and Teaching right here from the Associated Hebrew Schools, we don't really talk about them as a unique group, so it was worth bringing me here today to learn something. I'm not aware of the similar study in the last 8 years of the graduates of the double BA program at York, but I do know we've hired some outstanding Judaic teachers who are like Dela graduates certified to teach in Ontario. Teachers at Associated have salaries that are comparable to public school teachers, and recently, 1 year ago, the teachers at Associated, as well as Chat, the Director of Hebrew Studies is here, are eligible to join the Ontario Teacher Plan. So all the sections in the study about status and compensation, okay. So my final points here would be, I'll just do the big one. I think that on a cross-cultural basis, there is one piece that I really would like, I don't think it addresses DELIT, I think it addresses the field of Jewish education as a head of school. The DELIT program assumes that Mel Levine's approach and the books that are chosen for the syllabi of what it means for a teacher to know is the landscape of what it means to know in a North American Jewish education, and I would claim that, and I think Carol did a good job in analyzing what the students do and don't know, but there are approaches to pluralism and knowing that I hope in 10 years from now Mel Levine will still be the person that is the core knowledge of the unit of teaching and learning, and I know I'm doing it quickly. I know it's more than Mel Levine, but the idea that there is an understanding within all non-closed on second day Yontif day schools, I'll say that again, that there is not a consensus of all schools that are closed, not closed on second day Yontif of teaching and learning, and I think that the program and the evaluation of it is to focus on it and do it is a great idea, and you know, Toronto is host to Reform, Pluralistic, Secular Zionist, Community J schools, and the study assumes that there's a consensus of how to prepare pluralistic educators to teach in both non-Orthodox, denominational, and non-denominational settings. I am still thinking if that assumption or direction is accurate, notwithstanding this little critique, it is encouraging that this discussion of the importance of identifying the core knowledge and values is at the heart of the preparation of mission-based teachers.
Divided into small groups, I prepared some questions for 5 different groups, and the 5 questions try to follow the kind of big themes or questions that we have identified in the DELIT study. So the first group would try to discuss based on your own experience, the research that you know, and if you had the opportunity to read the research or what you heard here, like try to combine all of the 3 together and some questions that I have provided for each group. So, for instance, for group 1, the role of upbringing in shaping the decision to teach in Jewish day schools. And I asked to provide a brief summary of what you think about it, and come up with 1 or 2 research questions that you think are appropriate and were not addressed here, which I think this topic was not really addressed today. And if there is time, or if you want, instead of the research question or the other part, try to come up with a policy implication, that would be great too, okay? So the groups are the following. Group 1 would discuss the role of upbringing in shaping the decision to teach in Jewish day schools. Group 2 would discuss the role of teacher preparation programs and again, in relation to retention in the field. And group 3 would discuss the role of working condition, school context in regards to teacher retention. And the 4th group would discuss the role of professional development. And the 5th group, the role of Jewish community. The Jewish community as a whole.